Welcome to Rise Up After Hours. My name's Danielle, and we're going to talk about follow-up today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If you have, make sure you know where the chat is, because tonight I am going to be asking some questions, and I would love to hear some of the answers from you guys. All right. Oh, where is my, there it is. Okay, so tonight is all about follow-up. We can skip that one. What's happening real quick? There's tons happening right now, so I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of all the new stuff. Looney Tunes, we know we have new buddies out. Some of them are 50% off, the ones that are returning, of course. Father's Day collection, if you want to order by the, or if you want to have your order arrive by Father's Day, make sure to order by the 6th of June, which is next Monday, I want to say. Yeah, Monday. 2 Mondays, sorry, 2 Mondays from now. Summer collection, of course, has been available. We have 30% off on unplugged products. A lot of people don't really, I don't know if your customers buy a lot of these products. So if you're not showing yourself using them, that's a really good idea to kind of introduce people to them if you're showing them how you use them in your own life. I have my kids, side story, my kids, they called me over to their room just maybe half an hour ago, and they had set up all of their stuffed animals, including, most of them are Scentsy buddies, but a lot of bitty buddies and whatnot, and they had made a parade, a corridor in their room, and they were, as they got in the laundry basket, the other one pulled the other one, and they're waving to all the Scentsy buddies. So that's going to be a perfect, I mean, I took a picture for my own memories, but it's going to be a perfect picture to also share and then talk about Scent packs. So anyways, home office wrote a really wonderful article about how they are pledging they're pledging basically ways to help us with our businesses during this almost unprecedented time in our economy globally, with the inflation and all that. So just stay tuned for that. Brick by Brick level 2 ends on Tuesday next week. Yes, Tuesday. And then, of course, we have the Bring Back My Bar bundle. Last but not least, what got added today was the clearance sale happening on Thursday. So if you haven't shared that with your customers, that is something that you can do, definitely. They're going to be adding things. More details in the article, of course. Looking ahead to June, next Monday, I think it's next Tuesday, that's end of month. Is it Monday or Tuesday? It's Tuesday, right? So I think the days are just off a little bit. Wednesday is June 1st, unless I'm totally.
No, it's Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. Ignore what I was doing here at like midnight when I was working on it Monday night. Let's see. Customer newsletter will be available to send out on the 6th. Let's see. Reunion is happening. If you're not attending in person or watching virtually, you can always check our team pages to make sure that you're getting all the sneak peeks and all the announcements and being part of the fun. Stitch Day, usually there's an announcement around that time, and Stitch is a very popular person or group of characters, if you will. I know we had what is his love? An Angel is the love interest in that. I'm not a big Stitch fan, so I don't know. And of course, we have the last leg of the spring incentive starting in June. Okay, now I'm curious, does any of this sound like you guys? Have you had these thoughts that maybe, or you've had doubts about your business? We've all had them, it's natural. Maybe you feel like there are too many consultants, or you don't want to bug your customers when you follow up with them. You don't want to be salesy. That you wish you could reach 2,000 PRV and be paid at 30% commission, but you're just not quite sure how to get there. You kind of like know the theory of it, but you're not you can't really see it happening. And you should be following up, but you don't even know where to start. Congratulations, you're in the right place and you're watching the right training. Today we are talking about follow-up. So I want you guys to write in the chat, what do you think of when you hear the phrase follow-up? What comes to mind? I'm gonna check the comments now because yes, both sales are going on now, Jenny, to answer your question. 30 days to SFR. So what do you guys think of when you think about follow-up? I'm curious. I don't know where to put the chat so I can still see everybody. Okay. UGH. Ugh. LOL. It's true. It's completely honest, and I completely get it. Yeah, I felt the same way, believe it or not. I still feel like that sometimes because you're always in that back of your head or in the back of your mind. You're just wondering what they're going to think when you follow up with them. Well, why are we going to talk about it? Because if you've heard this phrase before, the fortune is in the follow-up. Have you guys heard that phrase before? If you've been around, if you watched any trainings with any of our upline, probably you have. John Maxwell says, and I'm paraphrasing, but you can see his quote there, it's your follow-up that will set you guys apart from every other consultant out there, because it's you. It's you. Going back to that thought about being too many consultants, only 10% of them maybe are actually working their business like a business. The rest of them are just taking advantage of being paid for buying the things that they already love. They're team members, but I like to think of them as super VIP customers with inside access, because they're not really working their business like a business. Like I said, the rest of the people who are on your team, those VIP customers with inside access, they maybe don't want to learn how to do more. They don't want more from their business. So they don't have any interest. They don't show up to events. They don't go on your team, on the team pages. They don't respond to your text if you're following up with them about, an order they placed, and you're just happy that they got active. They don't watch trainings. They're not here tonight. They're not watching the recording. And maybe they believe that they can't. Maybe it's just not the right time for them. I don't know. Maybe they're just having fun buying again from themselves. That's totally okay. But they don't invest their time and effort, which means they're not doing follow-up. And what's happening to those random orders that they might be placing for their friends and family, right? You got to wonder. In other words, it might feel like there's a lot of consultants, but really not everyone is working their business like an actual business. And not everyone is following up. So you have an opportunity to be there for customers, Scentsy customers. And what is really follow-up? Well, this GIF of Schitt's Creek, which is hilarious, is giving you a clue. Follow-up is basically, and it's essentially at its core, it's making connections. Before we dive further into follow-up, I want to drive home even more why follow-ups, that stupid gnat, are even more, or such a critical part of your business. Here is something that always astonished me. Oh, stupid gnat. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm gonna come back to what Rachel says, so hold on a second. We are in the relationship business. It's true. Imagine 100 consultants, right? 100 consultants, that's how we get percentages. I'm gonna make the math easy here. 48 of them never follow up, never. 25 of them only do a second contact and then they give up. They're like, they ignored me. Oh, I didn't hear back from them. 12% of people, 12 of those 100 consultants will make actual 3 contacts, and then they're going to stop. And only 10 of those 100 consultants will make more than 3 contacts. Is that you guys? Does that describe you? I've been all of those people, by the way. I have. It just depends on the vibe I get. And I'm human. I've not always been perfect at follow-up, but I'm going to get to it, but I've gotten a lot better at it. Now imagine 100 of your customers on a list. Maybe you don't have 100 quite yet, but imagine you have 100 customers on your list. Only 2 of those people out of 100, if you were to contact all 100 of them, only 2 of them are going to actually order after the first time you contact them, after you connect with them, after you follow up with them. Only 3 of them will order after the third contact or second contact. 5 of them will order on the third time you contact them, and 10 of them will order on the 4th contact, which means that 80% of your sales, 80% are going to be made between the 5th to 12th contact. They're probably not going to respond to your social media and your posts they're not going to probably order from just your social media posts. You're probably going to be ignored there too. It might mean that you're spending 3 to 6 months of connecting with your customers before they actually decide that they're ready to order more. And are there other avenues to collecting PRV besides follow-up? Of course, but you remember, you're setting yourself apart when you are following up and connecting with those customers one-on-one. We're in a relationship business, so I want to be clear when this graphic says contact, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're always talking about Scentsy. You're not always asking for the sale. You aren't always reaching out with the intention of a sale, but you are reaching out to build a relationship. And I'm going to teach you guys, I'm going to show you guys some ideas of what you can be doing. You're reaching out because you want to provide value to your customers. You want to lead with that value. It's not about you and your goal to earn the second leg of the incentive, build your sales, close those rings. It's not, that is a goal of yours, sure, but that's not the only intention we have when we do follow up. I like the acronym TINY. Their interests, not yours. TINY, their interests, not yours. So what information could be valuable to them? What do you want them to know? How can you help them improve their Scentsy experience? And what can you teach them about Scentsy? What can you show them? How can you make their life better with Scentsy? And how can you facilitate all of that? Through follow-up, through connecting. It takes months to find a customer sometimes, and it takes just seconds to lose one. Follow-up, making connections, or relationship building will make the difference in your business. And you want them to think of Scentsy and automatically have your face, your name in their mind. You want them to see someone asking, does anybody know a Scentsy consultant? And they're going to think of you because maybe they've ignored you for the last 6 months when you've followed up with them. But because you have followed up with them, they're going to remember you, and you're setting yourself apart. Here is something that Scentsy actually put together. And this is actually something you can see on the workstation. If you search follow up in the training center, this will come up as one of the results. But I wanted to highlight a couple of the things that they have here listed. You can increase your volume, your income, sorry, not your volume, by as much as 50%. I think you could do it more, but there you go. Roughly only 70% of Scentsy customers only purchase once a year. Their second purchase, people who do purchase more than once, their second purchase is usually 7 days after their first purchase, which means that if you're not following up with them a week after their first purchase, you're missing out. You're missing out. 80% of sales, they even show it in this document that statistic we showed you earlier is true. 80% of your sales will happen between the 5th and 12th contact. It's consistency and patience. And it does take a lot more effort to find new customers than to keep an existing one. If you already have one, why not nurture that relationship? Most people will buy, it says here, on the 7th contact, and in many cases, no simply means not yet. Being ignored simply means they have a busy life. It doesn't mean that they don't like you, which I know a lot of us tend to go there right away. They don't like me, they think I'm bugging them, they don't need Scentsy, they don't like Scentsy, whatever it is that's going through your brain. We gotta stop that train, change our mindset, and that's a whole other training. But it's usually just not yet. It's usually just not yet. Okay. Going back to my notes. Make sure I didn't forget anything. So let's start with some action steps because I like to give you guys action steps. So how do we actually follow up? Well, if you've done any of my trainings before, you need a system. So you got to decide, how do you want to communicate? What is your method of communication? Are you going to be using Amy, which is Scentsy sponsored, I should say not sponsored, but like contracted partner for follow-up. It's an app. It's pretty awesome. There's lots of trainings on it. Project Broadcast is a text service, which I'm going to talk a little bit about later. You can just text with your regular texting app on your phone. Email, maybe email is more your thing. Telegraph is also an app. Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, those are all different ways in which you have a choice to contact your customers. So decide what is working, what's going to be best for you. Where are your customers spending their time? Where are they hanging out? If they're all on Instagram and you're using Facebook Messenger, then maybe that's not the best. Like if it takes them a long time. I know that's happened to me where I've messaged people on Facebook because that's where I first communicated with them. And then it wasn't until a little bit more into getting to know them, I realized they're hardly ever on Facebook and I should just be texting them. So you kind of have to learn that about your customers. Pick something, of course, though, that suits you and your preferences and the time that you have. So if you only have time for email, then that's what you're going to focus on. What is your natural inclination to use or to do? YouTube has a lot of ideas for this. So I would suggest Amy, if you have money to invest into an app that will it syncs into your workstation. It automates your follow-up with little know-how required. It's very user-friendly, but it does cost, I think there's a free version or a trial version, and then you pay for it, something like that. For me personally, Amy is a thing where you have to be using it during hours that it's okay to text. And I am not one to work on my business during hours that it is okay to text. I'm usually working on my business later in the evening. So I don't want to text anybody at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night when they're probably going to be bothered by me texting so late. You know, I say it's late. It's just business after business hours. So I like Project Broadcast. This is again why I use it. But I hear lots of wonderful things about Amy. So if that's something you want to try, I personally would start there, just see how that works for you. Okay, next one. Oh, did it actually do it? No, it didn't. Go back. There we go. All right, step number 2 is how are you going to track your details? So eventually you are going to have more than 100 customers. You might have just 20, 30 people right now, but maybe you have 100. I think on my list, I have like 300 and something. And do I talk to all of them all the time? No, I'm definitely not going to remember all their details. But how you're going to need to track those details once you have a growing list. You're going to learn things about their dogs and their cats, their children, their husband, their spouse, their job, where they like to vacation. Those things are great things to know. Whether they love Disney, if you see pictures of them at Disneyland, they're going to be someone that maybe you want to share Disney stuff with. You're going to want to track those details. So you can track them with a spreadsheet, digitally, an order form binder, customer notebook, digital or paper, calendar or a planner, digital or paper, Trello, sticky notes, index cards, file system, an accordion system. Amy has that opportunity to do those things. And then there's also workflow systems like Asana, Airtable, Streak. I don't know much about those, but I just know that those are available to you if that's your jam. YouTube is a great place to go learn more about those systems. But just I wanted to show you guys which are available to you. And what is more, like if you love a paper planner, then maybe that's going to be your jam. Like you're going to write it in your daily planner. I don't know, but you got to use what works best for you. The best system is a system that you use. So you might want to try a couple. Now I have tried Trello. I've tried a customer notebook, and I tried an order form binder. Currently, I use a customer spreadsheet because it works best for me, and I always have it in my phone because I have Google Drive in my phone. So it goes everywhere. So if I happen to have a random conversation with a customer, I can easily add something because it's in my phone, and I could do it on my computer. I could do it on my iPad. It's pretty cool. This is a great system. If you want to try the binder system, Scentsy has this document on the workstation using the binder system. Just search follow-up in the training center. Chapter 3. Can you tell we've been reading Tale of Despero at night to my 8-year-old, or my almost 8-year-old, so I'm all in. Yeah. Okay. Number 3, things to say. That was something that I always struggled with. I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to be spammy. I didn't want to be salesy. So these are some ideas for you to write down. You probably have some in mind yourself that you like to share with them. Oh, I just caught your chat. I hear you, Kara. I know. I get it. Yeah, so these are some ideas of touch points of what you could be saying in your follow-up. And this document, again, if you search on the workstation, this document actually gives you a list and then actually gives you a script of what you could be saying in your follow-up. Now, I say that this is a great document to get started, but don't just copy word for word, verbatim, what this says, because I think it's a lot. It's too wordy. You want to keep it more casual, more relationship, more like if you're talking to your friend and like you're sitting next to each other kind of a thing. So if you can't say it quickly or like in 1 or 2 sentences, then like figure out how you can simplify it. because that's going to go across much more friendly and less salesy. One thing you can do is you can survey your customers. If you don't want to be spammy, survey them and see what they want to know about. I'm going to actually move that out of the way because I want to show you a survey that I created and shared with my customers. When I moved over to Project Broadcast, I wanted them to tell me what did they want to know about. So I'll show you that message that I sent them in a little bit, but this is a survey that I sent them, and I said, what do you want to hear about first? What do you love? Customer service is super important to me, and I don't want to bug you. Essentially, I don't want to bug you, and I don't want you to miss out. So, and I'm afraid of texting you too often. So here's your opportunity to let me know what do you want to know about? Their first name, last name, cell phone, email. Instagram. I want to move all my customers over to Instagram and a little bit further away from Facebook, but that's just me. So it says, what product savings launches would you like to be the first to know about? You can pick as many as you'd like. New catalogs, 10% off every order. By the way, that's Scentsy Club. Fundraisers, mystery boxes, gifts for teachers, real estate agents. So all of this information I'm logging, and I can tag them now with. Licensed character collections do you want to hear about? Maybe they want to know about Harry Potter, but they definitely don't want to know about Star Wars. So I'm not going to bother my time. Like, I'm not going to bug them when I don't need to be. I say bug, it's sharing information. It's follow-up. What collections do you want to hear about? Those are all the collections that we currently have, and I don't think I'm missing any. Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Easter, summer, harvest, holiday. And then what events do you want to be the first to know about? Open house events, craft fairs, or local community events, like I do a 4th of July one here. Flash sales, online sales. That's obviously something I'm going to find the people who checkmark that box and go and text them on Thursday or probably Wednesday evening. Wax and warmer swapping event, which I have yet to hold because I don't have a lot of interest in it, but I think it'd be really cool. So that is something that you could do to find out what your customers want to know about, so that you don't feel like you're bugging them, right? Okay. Oh, did I lose? Oh no, I'm on the wrong tab. There we go. Okay. Here are some examples. I know I like examples. Wait, make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, when you are not hearing from them after, let's say, like a year. Oh, sorry. Oh, this is going to be a fun recording. You can ask them, instead of asking them, because I use Project Broadcast. So if they were to reply to me, stop with Project Broadcast, that would disable me. Is that the right word? I would not be able to text them anymore from that number. I would have to either like Facebook message them to reach them in the future. And that would be terrible if they just wanted to like take a break because they're going through something hard in their personal life, or they're just moving and they're not ready to hear about stuff for 6 months. So instead of asking them to text me stop, I ask them to pause, then text me pause, and then I will ask them, how soon do you want to hear from me again? 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? That way I could still keep them on my list and I can still text them, but it's not preventing me from being able to text them in the future. I also want you guys to get used to saying, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't tell you about this clearance sale happening on Thursday. I wouldn't be doing my job. Like, I really literally wouldn't be doing my job. My business would be closed if I didn't tell you about what's happening this week. And then I always, before I send the link, I ask permission. It's just a, good customer sales, like a non-spammy thing to do, because I don't want them to feel like, here's my link and I just shop, you know what I'm saying? I prefer them, hey, would you like a link to browse and see what's new? Okay, so let's get on to some samples here. This is one that this person hadn't responded in a while. No, I'm sorry, take it back. This is a non-Scentsy connection. She just moved. She let me know she was moving last week. I even offered her boxes and packing paper, but she said she was good. And so I knew she was moving, so I made a mental note. Actually, I made a note in my calendar, not my mental brain, because that would be forgetting. I would be forgetful. So I said, hey, I was just thinking about you. How are you settling into your Arizona life? I hope you've had a chance to rest after unpacking. Now, did I mention Scentsy? Heck no. But this is me building rapport, building relationships. This is me connecting. This is follow-up. Now, she may have decided, oh, you know what? I just moved, I need new wax, but she didn't. She doesn't need any, and she just purchased before she ordered, or she moved actually. So I figured she wouldn't. But this is an example of follow-up. This person hasn't replied in about a year. And so I sent, and this is a really small, you can't really see it, but it says here, hello, please reply back. I think that's what it says. Oh, my eyes are so bad. Yeah, please reply back. Yes, if you want to keep hearing about Scentsy, pause if you want to take a break, and samples if you want to see what's new, or sniff and smell what's new. And then I just wrote, hey, or hi, Cassie, providing great customer service is super important to me. What started as a fun hobby is now my family business. I want them to know that I take this seriously. I do try to add value when I send you text. However, I haven't heard from you in a while. I hope everything's well. And she wrote pause, and she just said, I have a lot of things going on, whatever. It's a really great way to follow up. You know I don't have to text her so often. I'll probably give it a month, or not a month, I'm sorry, 3 or 6 months before I reach out again. And I actually scheduled her. I remember I did this the other day. I think September is when I scheduled to reach out again for the new catalog. What should oh, I'm curious. So here's a conversation I had with Christina. I said, hey, Christina, Danielle Norstedt here. I know it's been a while. How are you? How's your Scentsy stash? Anything I can help you with? New catalog, samples, gifts. If you prefer I don't text, just let me know. No hard feelings. And she said, can I get a catalog, please? And I said, absolutely. Can you send your address? I always like to ask when it's been a while. So I said, I like to double check now and then, although I already had her current address. I told her I sent it out, but in the meantime, you can check or what's new online or browse online. And if you have any questions, let me know. So she asked for a catalog, that's assuming she wants, she's given permission for me to send her a link. And I'm curious what you guys think should be my follow-up question, because this happened last week. She should have her stuff by now. What do you guys think my question should be, my follow-up response? Kara, I didn't see this until right now. What did you want a copy of?
The survey that you sent out.
Yes, I can send you the link to it. Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't mention this a second ago, but that was Kimberly Polita's idea. I just made it my own. So giving credit where credit's due. What would you guys say to this person now that she should have her samples? Anybody? Okay.
If she was asking for a new catalog, I might just ask, like, did you see any of the new items in the catalog? Like, if she hasn't seen the current catalog.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's actually, oh, Becky just wrote, hey, Christina, did your catalog arrive? I'm curious what warmer is your favorite? Yeah, exactly. Becky got it too. It's exactly what I would say. I would say something like, did you see anything that you love? What scent that I sent of the samples? Which one is your new favorite? Do you have any new favorites? It's a conversation. You're not asking, do you want to buy anything now? Because of course we do want her to buy something now, but that's not the question we're going to lead with, because we have her interests at the heart of our conversation, not ours. So yeah, what warmer is your favorite? What new thing did you see that you love? What's on the top of your wish list? Those are all really great questions. Okay, and this is my host that I actually have this week. This is a conversation we had last month. I said, happy Thursday, Jessica. I was thinking of you and wanted to check in to see how you've been loving your last Scentsy order. Any new favorites? That's something I ask a lot. I want to know what they love. She says they were good, but no new favorites. Still addicted to the cashmere and corduroy one, but I'm trying to pace myself. If you run across any of those or of the Harvest Blessing Blue Sage Tonka, we'll buy them in a hot second. And I told her I'll check my stash and let you know if I have any. I found some in my stash. She bought them offhand, and then she actually ended up asking me about like a grass smell. I happen to have that one in my stash as well from way back long, like that was my personal stash. And I told her I'd be happy to gift her that bar if she wanted to host a party with me. And I think I had a couple others too. And so she's hosting a party this week. So that's an example of follow-up. It doesn't have to be super scary. Although I know at the beginning when you're not comfortable, you're used to doing it, it can feel that way. But I promise you won't die. All right, number 4, how often should you be following up? There are so many different systems. The standard is called the 113 or the 222. It just refers to the 1 day or the 1 day, 1 week, and 3 months later after their first purchase. And hopefully in that time frame, they'll have purchased again. You can also do the two days later, 2 days, or 2 weeks later, and then the 2 months later, or the 111. It's totally your preference. I like to do follow-up monthly. Like I like to touch base. It's not always Scentsy related, but I do like to make sure that I'm staying in front of their, eyes. I want them to know that I'm available if they need me. So it might be just my follow-up might be finding them on Facebook and commenting on something that they just posted, today. If it's from a week ago, I might not comment on that. But whatever's, it's a touch point. It's a connection. You can ask their preferences, like I said before with that survey. You can do what is, sustainable for you. What can you commit to as far as being consistent with follow-up? What's doable for you? Let's see. So some examples, you can confirm that their order was placed or thank them for their order. That's the first one. You can let them know that their order has just shipped and it's arriving soon. That's follow-up number 2 at whatever time frame you feel comfortable. Obviously would be within before it's delivered and, after it's shipped. And then 1 to 2 weeks later, how are you liking everything? Everything arrive okay? Any new favorites? And then your 4th contact on them would be at, your discretion. How often are you able to follow up? Can you commit to following up again, of course? And then, of course, their preferences. You can send them that survey like, hey, I really don't want to bother you too often. So here's a survey that I have to make sure that my customer service is to your standards. Like, what do you want to know about? Send them that survey at the 4th time. Invite them to your VIP group as another contact, newsletter, Scentsy Club. I can go on and on. In your workstation, there is also this document that describes more in detail the 113 system. Again, you can customize that to your own needs. It's just write down that title, and that way you'll be able to find it later. Customer follow-up system, the 113 system. Number 5, your mindset. Ta-da! Mindset is always huge in our business. So arrows out, focusing on what they want, that tiny acronym, right? Their interest, not ours, not yours. What reasons are the reasons that a customer might want you to follow up with them? What do you guys think in the chat? What reasons would they want to hear from you for? Would you count a Facebook comment on their personal post a follow-up or yeah, I would, Kara. If it's a conversational one, if it's just like sweet with a happy face, probably not. But if it's like, oh my gosh, that looks delicious. Where's the recipe? I need that recipe. And it's a conversational, it's more personal, then yes, I would. But if it's just like a one word or just like a like on the picture, probably not. You want to be more memorable about that or with that. But of course, if that's all you can commit to, that's better than nothing. I'm not here to judge. Yeah, if you commented their kid or dog, you actually applied and so yeah, you could ask them about the kid or dog or yeah, absolutely. I always try to think of a question that would be a genuine happy birthdays every day are great habits. Absolutely. Yes, Becky, I love that idea. I try to do that and I'm not very consistent with it because I'm not always on Facebook, but it's always like, I should be doing that. So anybody else have any ideas of why a customer would want to hear from you? Anybody? You can unmute yourself or do it in the chat if you want. Their bulb arrived broken and they didn't know how to ask. Absolutely, yes. So something was wrong in their order, maybe. They might want to hear from you about that. They might need a refill. Or like I have in my notes, they have a problem about their order. Yeah, that's exactly what Becky just said. Maybe they have a gift giving need. Father's Day, graduation's coming up. They're forgetful and it's on their list, but it's the very bottom of their list. It's not a priority. And if you contacting them, following up with them, makes it easy for them to purchase more, they're going to be so thankful that you reached out. That's valuable to them. You made it easy. They saw something somewhere else and they wanted to know more, like any of our LTOs, our Looney Tunes, the castle back when it was a pre-order thing, anything that's big like that. They may have seen it somewhere else, like in a fan group from a fan, not a customer. Don't do that, or not a consultant. Don't do that. And they want to know more, and you reach out about it. And oh, I was just thinking about you because I saw that the other day and I forgot to reach out to you. Of course, they would want you to know, or would want you to reach out about it. One customer is very posty on Facebook, and so I comment as much as I can. Sometimes we also, I hear you, Kara. Do what feels right, I would say. What feels natural. They broke their dish, yes. Exactly. I have a customer whose dish I just reordered, and she had it in a box because she was in between houses, like she was buying a house and lived with her sister for a while. I think she said she had it in a box for like a year and a half, something like that. It was like, you waited this long? And it was on me. Actually, I texted her, but she just didn't reply. But I should have pushed a little bit more consistently.
Another great follow-up idea too for end of catalog. So this season will be July, is to go back through the last 6 months and see who ordered warmers within the current catalog, because for $10 or however much it is in the States, they might want to grab any of the warmers that are discontinuing, just to have on hand. So that's another great just way of contacting them and offering customer service, especially like the limited edition warmers, like for example, Cinderella's carriage. Those are obviously more money, but if somebody breaks, or the Darth Vader helmet, something like that, the warmer kind of is invaluable. So another great idea for follow-up at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's a great, I've never done that. So it's a great idea, especially for those wonky dishes, like you were saying, the Cinderella one. I'm curious, have you guys ever purchased from any other direct sales business? Give me like a thumbs up or a thumbs up in the comments. Because I've purchased from Color Street and Pampered Chef. And I can't remember if I've purchased from any of the other ones. It was a while back. Did they make it easy for you to get more of what you already ordered? I haven't been followed up with ever. No, right? It is not your customer's job to remember who you are. Maybe it was at a party that you met that person you purchased from. Maybe it was a Facebook thing. Because of COVID, it's been more virtual these days. But it's not their job to remember who you are. Diana, yeah. Kara. Becky.
I do have a funny story, but I'll say, Becky, I do use Color Street on my toes. I love my nail girl. I order, I don't even know how to pronounce it. It used to be mascara, but now it's like Seint or Seint, or it's makeup. Okay. Anyways, I order from her and she orders Scentsy from me. I follow up with her and she uses my follow-up to follow up with me. I'm like, what? This is cheating. You're such a cheater.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like if it's not your customer's job, like with all the millions of things we have going on in our own personal life, like for you to follow up with her about wanting to purchase more mascara or whatever it is that you want from her, that's not your job. It's her job to be reaching out to you.
No, like luckily, I follow up with her for Scentsy, her Scentsy purchase, and then in that conversation, she follows up with me about my makeup. And I'm like, no. I started this follow-up first. I'm the businesswoman right now. You're the customer,
I love it. Yes, follow-up is so important. And your customers need you to follow up with them. Like, get that into your mindset that they need you to follow up with them. And it's the last thing on their to-do list. It is something that can be pushed off over and over and over again until you reach out to them. You have a consumable product. If you don't know what that means, it means something that runs out. Eventually, I will no longer have any more of this wax until I purchase more, especially pods. By the way, pods, there's no other comparable product in the market for pods. They have to buy Scentsy pods because you can't get it at Target or Walmart. Hopefully they're not getting their wax there, but if you're not following up with them, they probably are just going to be more convenient to go pick it up from there. Hopefully they don't, because it's not as good. And chances are in about 30 or 60 days, they're going to need more. Now, if you follow up with them and they say, oh, I still have tons and they purchased from you a year ago, then you need to be educating them on how often they should be changing their wax. What's going on that they're not using their wax as often as they should. That is something that you can do in your follow-up. And you can also do that in your social media. Your customers are eventually going to run out of certain things. How can you extend the value of what they've already purchased? Then once you do the follow-up, once you figure out that they need to learn how to change their wax and you've done that and you've increased the value of your relationship with them, detach from the results. Do your follow-up and walk away with the idea that you are a waiter or waitress. You have asked if they want coffee, they declined a coffee. You're not going to go cry in the corner saying, oh my God, they don't want my coffee. They are just simply not ready for coffee. They're not ready for wax, and that's fine. It might take a few contacts, a few follow-ups, a little bit of relationship building for them to be ready to order again. No means not yet. Once you know your system, you're going to create a habit of it. James Clear is my go-to guru for when it comes to habits. He wrote Atomic Habits. He spoke at Reunion, was it a year ago, 2 years ago? I don't remember. It's been a while. But he says, number one, make it easy so that you can't say no. Start your habit, darn that net, so that you can't say no to the habit. Make it so easy. Increase your habit in a very small way. So if you're not doing any follow-up at all, start super small. Do one person a week. If that's really doable, try one person a day, Monday through Friday, whatever. Make it small, so easy that you can't say no to doing that so simple thing. Break habits into chunks. So maybe follow-up isn't the goal, isn't the habit to start, but the habit is to sit at your computer and pull up your customer list. Because I'm going to tell you, once you have the habit of always sitting at your computer at 9 o'clock in the morning or whatever you have time for it, always pulling out your phone and grabbing that Amy app and opening that Amy app every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 o'clock when your kids are waiting in the car line, I don't know. That doing just the action of pulling up your phone and opening the app, you've made it so easy to start the habit, because your habit is just to pull open your phone and open the app, or pull up your list and grab your phone to text. Make it so easy that you cannot not do it. When you slip up, because you're bound to slip up, get back on track without guilt. There's no reason in shaming yourself for messing up that you didn't do what you said you were going to do. You should expect to slip up, James Clear says, and try and create as little friction as possible to make that slip up less likely. For example, my slip ups usually are going to happen because I have kids and they're going to distract me from what I needed to get done. So what do? I plan my follow-up when I know they're going to be busy with something else. It helps lessen the friction. Be patient with yourself and do what you can that is sustainable. I said that before. That was James Clear's 5 little steps on how to create a habit. For me, so my trigger action is an email. I do the follow-up and then I log the details and set a reminder to follow up again in my Google Calendar task list. It has a little reminder. It shows up on the right day. It's pretty cool. You're never going to always feel like doing follow-up 100% of the time. Like, you can bank on not feeling like doing follow-up. The motivation happens when you've already started. So make it super easy to start. You don't rise to the level of your goals again, you fall to the level of your system. So let's talk about some scripts. I'm not going to get too much into detail here because we are short on time, and I want to be able to show you guys a couple other things before we go. But here are some examples of some scripts. You need a thank you message, a shipping notification, an order satisfaction follow-up. So what does that sound like? Did you find anything new that you loved, right? Any new favorites? 2-month follow-up. Hey, it's been a while. How's your Scentsy stash going? Did you see what's new? I'm asking a question, so they're gonna have to respond to me. If I just tell them something, it's a statement. There's no need for a reply. So a question is always a really great way to end a follow-up because it kind of forces them a little bit to reply, although I still get ignored. And that's okay. Scentsy Club is a great follow-up. So a script of how can you share Scentsy Club. If you're not really familiar, go and teach yourself. There's lots of training on it. But a great way that I would share Scentsy Club is, hey, would you want 10% off your order? You order every 2 or 3 months. Would you want 10% off every time? And that's a question. They're going to be not forced, but they're going to be more likely to reply because it's a question. There's like weird anticipation in the air. And they're like, yeah, but how? That's a great way to provide value. Let me tell you about how you can save some money. Scentsy Club, so forth and so on. A script about discontinuing products, which will happen, like Becky said, in July. Sales or new LTOs. So for me on Thursday, I have a script that says something like, hey, they're adding stuff to the clearance and I know you love a good deal. Would you want a link to browse when it starts? And then when they say, heck yeah, I want a deal, or I want the link to browse, then you're gonna ask them, would you want me to personalize the link? If you open a personalized link, you can share with your friends and maybe you get some free stuff. That's pretty cool. A new catalog script. So these are all things that you can work on. Keep it short is my number one note on that. Keep it short, keep it personal, use their name. Don't be, hey hun. Hey hun. I mean, unless you're already, that's why they call us the Huns, you guys. Don't hun everybody. Use their name, keep it personal. Unless you really are from like the South and that's part of your everyday vernacular and you're doing that to everybody, including the Starbucks barista you see on the way, every day to work. Don't use those. Don't do hun, don't do babe, don't do girl, all those slang terms that just are not personal. Don't do them if you can, unless again that's your normal thing that you normally say every day and they know that that's okay, like that's the way you speak. Avoid the I and the me in your follow-up. So do not spam people and say, and I think you guys wouldn't do this because at least my team, because I know I've trained you guys on this before, I'm after a goal. Would you want to help me? I and me, that's not their interests. They don't, unless they're your mom and your sister, and even then, they're probably not, they don't really care about your goals. I would love to help you save some money. Can I send you the link to browse the sale on Thursday? That's providing value to them. And then you're going to bring them into the funnel. If you have a VIP group, if you have a newsletter, if you have Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, wherever you are hanging out, wherever your customers are hanging out, like bring them into the fold through your follow-up as well, so that you get to know them on a more like personal relationship kind of way. If it's hard to do business with you, they aren't going to do business with you. So make it easy for them to get value from their Scentsy products in their life when you do follow-up. Here's a challenge. Dun, dun, dun. Make a list of customers and contacts in the last 3 months. By the way, do you know how to pull up your customers by their last purchase date? I'm going to show you in a second on the workstation reporting tab. Decide organize them. Did they purchase last week? Did they purchase a month ago? Did they purchase 3 months ago? What are you going to say to them? Put them in a list of that in that kind of way, or organize them. Decide how are you going to make a habit easier to start? How are you going to do that? Pick a day and time, so forth and so on. Write the scripts, customize the messages, and send the private messages, texts, or the emails, however you decide to do it. And share on our team page your results. I would love to hear about what you guys end up with. Generosity is one of our core values, as you guys know. So sharing what you're doing in your business helps Becky and I also learn from you. We want to hear more about you guys too. And how's it going for you? And did you find something that worked really well, or maybe something that didn't work so well? And maybe you want some feedback on it. Authenticity, simplicity too. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Authenticity, be you, make it sound like you were to talk If you were to leave them a voice message, ooh, that's a great idea too. Follow up can be a voice message. It's like super personal that way. They can hear your excitement about the sale. And then after 3 months, you can evaluate how it's been going and then improve your process where it's going. Like, maybe Amy isn't working for you and you need something else, or maybe you prefer paper and pen because you always have your planner with you. I don't know, but you need that foundation first to decide how can you improve upon it. And you can't automate something that doesn't exist, right? So you have to know what effort you're saving if you don't know what the manual process is first. Yes, absolutely. I love hearing from you guys, like what you're doing. Like, oh, I didn't know that. My personal follow-up system is I have a folder in my email that automatically gets any emails that related to an order get sent to that folder. And that's the first folder I look at because I'm excited when I see a new PWS order in there. And I say, oh, I have a new email. I do not delete the email until I log the order. That is my system. That way I know if I've seen the email, I know it's not logged until it's gone from that folder. And I've contacted them to say thank you, or if I submitted their own order, like if I submitted it for them, I will log the order and add them to my customer spreadsheet. Either way, PWS order, or if I submit it for them, log their PRV. Why do I log the PRV they're spending? Because if they're spending consistently with me over the course of a year, they should be my team member. And I want them to know, hey, you spent $500 with me over the course of the last 12 months. You may as well be being paid for that. You could have earned $100 in US, sorry. Becky, if they did 500 PRV, you guys calculate it to what you would be earning in Canada, but it would be $100 in the US. And that's nothing to scoff at because I know I would like $100 right now. And then I add them to my project broadcast contact list, and then I schedule my next follow-up in my Google Calendar because that's how I know what to do and when to do it in my business. I've shown you guys that before in another training. If only you could be sure it would be a voicemail, then they wouldn't pick up. Kara, actually, there's a way to do that in Project Broadcast. You can actually schedule a voicemail to go out and it doesn't ring their phone. It just ends up in their voicemail. It's so cool. It does cost 2 credits though, instead of 1. So there is that trade-off, but having that personal touch is like a really big difference, I think. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Becky, for helping me with that. Okay, and then the last but not least, I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording right now because we're over time by 10 minutes or so. So stop the share. Thank you for watching. And I'm gonna open up to you guys. And hold on, where is the recording? Where did it go? I don't see it.